Welcome everyone. I'm excited to kick off today's presentation on mastering the art of punctuation. Today, we'll focus on grammar, specifically commas and introductory elements. We'll explore how proper punctuation can enhance clarity and flow in your writing. So let's get started and make punctuation your new best friend. Even though it was late in the evening, Simon still wanted to go outside. This shows that sometimes our desires or impulses can outweigh practical considerations like the time. It highlights a common human tendency to prioritize certain feelings or needs over rules or warnings. In the context of our overall theme, it reminds us that decision-making is often influenced by emotions and personal motivations, even when circumstances suggest it might not be the best choice. So, understanding this balance between impulse and practicality is key to better managing our actions and reactions. Fog is a cloud near the ground. It's made up of tiny water droplets that hang in the air close to the Earth's surface. Now here's an interesting point. Sometimes, when the fog is thick, you really can't see very far across the street. For example, I can't see across the street, Dad. This shows how fog can limit our visibility and make things feel a bit more mysterious or tricky to see clearly. And look at the fog. It's a great example of how clouds can be so low to the ground that they almost look like a blanket covering everything. The key idea here is understanding that fog is simply a cloud, but it's very close to us, and that's what makes it unique. So, as we continue, think about how fog affects our daily lives and why it's important to recognize these weather patterns. No, I don't think it will rain today. This phrase is a good example of how we express our opinions about the weather, often based on observation or intuition. It's useful to notice the tone and certainty conveyed here. It's a personal judgment rather than a definite forecast. Well, I think we can get the meeting started. Here, well signals a transition, indicating that I am ready to move forward. It shows confidence and readiness, which is important when leading a discussion or meeting. Using these conversational phrases helps make communication more natural and engaging. Yes, I learned about fog in science class. In this sentence, yes affirms what I am about to share, emphasizing that I have relevant knowledge. Learning about fog involves understanding how it forms, which ties into broader topics like weather patterns and atmospheric conditions. This example demonstrates how introductory words can set the tone and connect our personal experiences to the subject matter of the presentation. That's Jamie's project, isn't it? Fog is droplets of water vapor, isn't it? You see, when we talk about fog, we're really describing tiny water droplets suspended in the air, which makes it look thick and cloudy. And this concept ties into our overall theme of understanding atmospheric phenomena. By recognizing these details, we can better grasp how weather patterns develop and how they affect our environment. So, it's not just about the water vapor itself, but about how these droplets form and behave in different conditions. This understanding can be useful in many fields, from meteorology to environmental science. No, I don't think it will rain this afternoon. Let's take a closer look at this picture of a cumulus cloud. You can see that Kim describes it as puffy and round at the top, which is a great way to identify this type of cloud. Cumulus clouds are often associated with fair weather because they tend to be fluffy and white, like cotton balls. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is a cumulus cloud? Well, it's a type of cloud that forms when warm air rises and cools, causing water vapor to condense into those characteristic puffy shapes. Understanding these clouds helps us predict the weather better. And that's the connection to our overall theme. Recognizing different cloud types helps us anticipate upcoming weather conditions more accurately. I think we can get the meeting started. Well, what did you learn about how dew forms? Ron, didn't he? Your father predicted that earlier. Even though it was raining, we still went outside to play, which shows how eager we were to enjoy some outdoor fun regardless of the weather. Sometimes, the weather doesn't cooperate, but that shouldn't stop us from making the most of our day. In the morning, the weather was perfect for a walk, so we took advantage of that ideal conditions to get some fresh air and enjoy nature. It's amazing how a clear, sunny morning can really lift your spirits and set a positive tone for the rest of the day. And after a long, busy day, we decided to wind down by watching a movie. It's a great way to relax and spend quality time together, especially after being active or dealing with the unpredictability of the weather. These examples highlight how our plans can adapt based on the weather, and how we find joy in different activities regardless of the circumstances. It's all about staying flexible and appreciating the moments, rain or shine. Now, on this slide, we see some everyday examples of how we use different verb tenses to describe actions in various contexts. First, while waiting for the bus, she read a book. This illustrates the use of the past continuous tense to show an ongoing action happening at the same time as another event. It's a great way to set the scene and give more detail about what was happening. Next, finally, the project was completed ahead of schedule. Here, we're using the past simple tense to highlight a completed action, emphasizing that it was done earlier than expected. This can be useful when talking about achievements or milestones. Finally, before the concert, we grabbed a quick bite to eat. This example shows a past simple action that happened before another event, using the phrase before to connect the two. Overall, these examples demonstrate how different tenses and time expressions help us tell stories more clearly and effectively. They also remind us that choosing the right tense can give our communication more precision and context. After our meeting today, we'll be discussing what the next steps are moving forward. It's important to know what actions we need to take next to stay on track. If you happen to finish your homework early, feel free to join us for the game. It's a great way to relax and build team spirit. Speaking of teamwork, as a result of everyone's effort, the team actually won the championship. That shows how dedication and collaboration really pay off. Now, can you spot the introductory element in these sentences? That's what we're going to check together. Let's go ahead and test your knowledge on identifying those key parts. All right, let's look at this slide. First, we see the sentence. Once we finish eating, we will play tennis at the park. Notice that this sentence is a bit longer and includes a dependent clause at the beginning. The word once introduces the condition or time frame, and then we have the main action. It's important to remember that when the sentence starts with a dependent clause like this, we usually need a comma after it to separate it from the main clause. So it should be, once we finish eating, we will play tennis at the park. This makes the sentence clearer and easier to read aloud. Next, there's a simple question. Okay. This might be a response or a cue that we're moving on to the next point. Then, the slide shows a star symbol, which could indicate a key point or highlight. Following that, we have the sentence. We woke up early to go fishing. Here, the phrase early describes when we woke up, giving us a sense of planning and timing. It emphasizes that we started our day early to make the most of our fishing trip. Again, there's a question mark with, likely prompting us to think about the sentence or where punctuation should go. Then we see in the morning, which is a time phrase. It's often used to set the scene or provide context for activities. Another star follows, probably indicating another important point or example. Next, we have the greeting, welcome to our hotel. This is a friendly, inviting phrase often used when greeting guests. Then the word appears again, possibly prompting us to consider punctuation or phrasing here. Next, the word hello is shown, which is a simple greeting, reinforcing the friendly tone. Again, there's a star, highlighting a key concept. Finally, the slide asks, where does the comma go? This is a quick quiz question. The main point here is understanding where to place commas in sentences, especially when they start with introductory phrases like welcome to our hotel or when connecting clauses. In summary, the key idea across these examples is the importance of punctuation, especially commas, to improve clarity. When sentences start with introductory words or phrases, like once, in the morning, or welcome, a comma often follows to separate the introductory part from the main sentence. Recognizing these patterns helps us write and speak more smoothly and correctly, which is essential in effective communication. Now, let's put our new comma rules into practice with a fun challenge. First, I want you to write 3 original sentences, making sure to include all 3 comma rules we've learned today: direct address, introductory words or phrases, and separating items in a list. Remember, commas are our friends. They help us pause and make our sentences clearer. Using commas correctly will help your writing sound more natural and easier to understand. So, give it a try, and see how mastering these rules can improve your writing and communication.